Good morning, everybody. Hi, Anani, especially since you put it in the chat. If you're here and you guys have access to your cameras, please put them on. I'm pretty sure both of my helicopters, are there two of you? No, there's only one. Helicopter, Lab 10, Emily, you guys can put your your cameras on. Hello, guys. I know, I'm tired too. Why can't I hear anything?
We're all muted.
Okay, I was just gonna say that. Are you guys actually even making noise? Is what I was gonna ask. I'm tired. This weekend went by way too fast. Way too fast.
A lot of people aren't on here.
I agree, and it's already 8:30. If this was school, everybody else would be tardy. Seriously. Where is everybody? So how was everybody's weekend?
Good.
What did you guys do? Did you sit there and wait at the screen until class today? You were there sitting in your seats all weekend, just waiting for Miss G to come back on. Is that what you were doing? You found a beehive in a bush? Oh, how'd that go? I get scared. Yoletta, do you have a question?
LB said she's waiting at the lobby.
Yeah, I know. She messaged me too, but I've been in here. I haven't gotten an invitation from her. Maybe she's trying to join Teams. I'm thinking she's trying to join Teams. Here she comes. Better, LV? So guess who I saw at Walmart? It was small. Your beehive was small. Still scary. Guess who I saw at Walmart this weekend? Somebody from class. Somebody from class. Anyone want to take a guess who I saw at Walmart this weekend?
Michael.
Not Michael.
Anani.
But it is a boy.
Oh.
Anani. It was Gabe. It was Gabriel Diego Smith. I was lurking around the Halloween area because I'm obsessed with Halloween. And I turn the corner and I see a tap on my shoulder. I'm like, who is this person? And it was Gabe's mom.
Yeah. Isn't Halloween like in 1.5 months?
It is. It is.
But people are, I think, going a little crazy over quarantine that they're already putting stuff.
Aren't they gonna cancel trick or treating?
I'm one of those crazy people. That's
me too. I'm not gonna go trick or treating because my mom doesn't let me. But I'm gonna hand out the candy.
Oh, well, I don't know if we're like Daniela said. I'm not sure what they're gonna do about Halloween this year. I know personally, um, well, I haven't gone trick or treating in a while, but I would go trick or treating because I look very young, and if I dress like a child, I bet that I'd get candy for free. But I do think that it might get canceled, and I don't know if I didn't want to go either because
If they cancel it, because my sister, last year she was on a field trip, so she couldn't go trick or treating, and so she said like, if they cancel it now, like she's gonna have 2 Halloweens that she hasn't gone to.
what?
Yeah, I'm not really much of a candy person. I just like going out scaring people.
I like chocolate. That's my.
Yeah, but I think I have like a whole drawer full of candy and chocolate. And I really like.
I think my thing is that my favorite part of Halloween is the scary movies. I'm obsessed with scary movies. I've
I don't
watched them.
like scary movies. I don't watch them, but I like the characters. I think I got that out of my cousin. So I think I'm probably gonna be it.
It's a clown.
I went like hiking yesterday with these big like what are they called? Like waterfall things. But there was no water because it's like in fall where all the water. But there was barely any water, and we went hiking for like 4 miles.
That sounds really beautiful, though. Did you like it or what?
Yeah, it was. We found a spot to have a picnic too. It was just
Really?
me, my mom, and my sister, because my dad was watching my baby brother. We got back really late, so
It sounds like an all-day adventure type of thing.
yeah, we didn't get back until like 10.
Really?
Yeah.
How are you on here right now? I would be sleeping. Not that I'm telling you to sleep, but did you go straight to sleep last night or did you stay up?
I stayed up for a little bit because I was bored.
Yeah.
But then
I finally got to play Fortnite this weekend for the first time in like since I started teaching, basically, because you guys have completely taken over my life. It's fun. I can't believe they added adventures into there. I like went and killed that Dooms guy, and he has like by far my favorite power so far. I don't know.
You play on your computer, on your phone?
I don't play PC. No. I play on my brother's old Xbox. I will refuse to spend money on my own console, so I don't buy a PlayStation or Xbox. I just use my brother's old one.
True.
Yeah.
Was it like the very first Xbox One or Xbox 360?
it's like the Xbox 360.
Are you asking me which one I have?
Yeah.
I think it is the Xbox One. I think it's like the Xbox One X or something like that. I'm not quite sure.
My phone, it was actually my mom's old phone. But still, it's good. It works.
It's the worst thing in the game. It's the worst thing in the game, sure, but when you have that power in the game, I don't know if you guys are talking to me, but if you have that power in the game, it's like a guaranteed win.
They put an Iron Man too.
I saw that they put that Iron Man area in like what is that? The
Stark
Industries. I landed there yesterday and I was so confused. Those little red was it those little like red like alien things were like attacking me?
Yeah.
Those. Wait, you were playing Fortnite yesterday?
Yeah, I couldn't win. I was getting so angry. I just quit the game.
Were you like getting
2 guys on me? It was like top 5. I had 2 guys on me and those little red alien things shooting at me.
I rage quit. You rage quit?
I rage quit.
Who knew you were a Fortnite player?
I wish I could play Fortnite, but I can't because I needed to buy something in order for me to play Fortnite.
So you died from like.
I just
you died
played
from
on my
Galactic,
Switch.
like.
I just found Nintendo.
It was terrible. I guess we're just gonna get started. It's already a whole 10 minutes late. I was waiting for a few more people to join us, but I guess we are just gonna go ahead and begin. I hope everybody had a lovely weekend. I know I did, but it went by so quickly that I'm pretty sad now. I know that I mentioned last week, if you guys can mute your mics, I know that I mentioned last week that I was going to email parents, well, yeah, the parents of the students who are failing my classes. But that completely got away from me and I completely forgot. So I'm going to be doing that during our break. So your parents might receive an email during our break if you are one of the students. That's just a heads up for you guys to start thinking of, Mom, I'm sorry, Dad, I'm sorry, Grandma, I'm sorry, whatever it is you have to do. Write it down now. Come up with a good speech you've had all weekend. But
What's happening?
that's just a quick warning to my students, okay? So please make sure that you are prepared for that, because there are, like, I think you guys saw the number. There's like 8 for social studies and 10 for ELA that are failing in our class. And we only have 26 students, so that's like a little less than half. All right, that's not a good number. If there's a reason that, if you already know it's you and you're feeling like this sort of like internal guilt, I feel that like I said, I was a student a couple months ago. I know exactly what that means to know that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And you don't, maybe you feel like, oh, I don't want to talk to my teacher about it because you're almost like embarrassed or something. Don't feel that way. I'm not mad at you guys if you aren't doing well in my class. I get it. Okay, virtually, it's hard to learn. I'm not gonna, judge you or look at you different throughout the year. I think that you are all good students, okay, in your own ways. Maybe homework is just not for you, right? You don't, once you're done with school, you just don't think about homework and then you blank your head out and do fun stuff or whatever it is. I get it. Homework isn't fun. It's not fun for me either. But it is important for you guys to practice when we're finished with virtual class. And that's why I assign it, okay? So please just try to do your best to do it. And if you need an extension, tell me before it's too late and it's due and you get a 0. Okay? So let's go ahead and start. This is our last chapter, guys. Remember, I announced last week that we are having a social studies test on Monday, okay? So not today, but next week, Monday. So you have exactly 7 days before your social studies test. And we've learned a lot. We've learned a lot about tribes, right? We'll quickly go through just really, really quickly, right? So we've learned about the Hopi, a lot about the Hopi, right? We've learned about the Navajo, a lot about the Navajo and where they are today, where they've lived. We spent an entire lesson on that. Then we talked about those of the woodlands, right? The ones who were basically all over the place. We had the north, the Penobscot, and the south, the Natchez, the basically 2 way different parts of the United States that they lived in. One was really cold, one was really hot, right? We talked a lot about the Haudenosaunee. We spent a long time on this lesson. We spent like about a whole week on it, and maybe a little longer. And we talked about what wampum is. We watched that really fun video talking about the creation of the Confederacy, right? Between Daganoweda and Hiawatha. Basically, the Confederacy is like what we know as the United States today, right? They joined together. They joined a bunch of groups together to make one big country, or, in their words, they use Confederacy. They had their own law, their own like presidents, right? Their own council. We talked a lot about that. We learned about the Native Americans of the plains, right? They were super into buffalo and horses. Remember, as soon as they got the horses, they were able to kill the buffalo and all of that stuff. Then we learned about the Lakota. I'm sorry, this is the tribe that trained their boys and girls from really young age, right? The boys were trained in bow and arrow. So by the time they were probably your age, they were probably fully trained and able to hit moving objects. They started when they were like 4 years old. They started training, which is super young. The girls were taught how to make the teepees. They were learning how to prepare the meat to eat and all that stuff. They had this really cool calendar with all of the symbols, and they would write the calendar on buffalo skin. Okay, that's how they would document it. And remember that question that somebody had, that, hey, Miss G, how do we know all the stuff that we know today? It's because of stuff like this. They would mark down and use symbols, and people there for their entire lives, they would choose to study what those symbols meant, and they were able to translate it into English for us. So that's sort of what that is. Remember, they were the ones obsessed with the buffalo. It basically provided them with all of their lives, like their livelihood and stuff. So that's a lot. I just said a lot. I said basically our entire unit, in maybe 2-3 minutes, and that's still not, you know, like all of the information. That's just an overview of it. So it's a lot. So if you guys want to start every day, maybe read a little bit of your chapter, read a little bit of your chapter every day after class, 1 or 2 pages. I know it seems like who wants to do that, Miss G, but it'll help you guys on your test, okay? Because when you get your test, it's going to be timed, okay? You're only going to have a certain amount of time to do it. And it's going to count as a grade, okay? It's going to count as a big part of your grade. Tests weigh in at 20% of your grade. That's 1/5 of your grade. That's a big chunk of your grade. So if you fail that, you'll never probably be able to get an A in my class, or maybe even a B, depending on how much you do your homework, okay? Your tests make up a lot of your grade, so make sure you're starting to study. So lesson 4, Native Americans of the West. Also, let me check this chat because I see 9 messages. Guys, do I have to tell you to stop talking about stuff that doesn't relate to class? You should already know that. Please don't. Please don't start our week off terribly. But okay, the Native Americans of the West, that's who we're talking about now, okay? So here we go. So we have those a part of the Northwest Coast is what it was called. So it basically starts in Alaska and it goes all the way to California. And it runs off that coast of land, right? Like towards the top end of the United States all the way down, okay, on the left side where California is. That's sort of the area that we're talking about. So we've talked about like by New York, we've talked about by Indiana, we've talked a lot about Texas and New Mexico and that whole area. And now we're talking about, and we talked even about Canada a little bit, but now we're talking about California. That would be on the other opposite side of New York, okay? So basically here, right, we know that California has mountains, right? It has forests. There are some islands, and it has a wet climate, mild winters, meaning not too cold, and then cool summers, meaning not too hot, right? So if any of you guys have ever visited California, or even some parts of Mexico, right, where it's not too hot and it's not too cold at night, right? That's sort of what the weather was like. So basically, if we think that we've learned, if everybody can bring their attention here, I see eyes looking to the left, to the right. I see eyes on other tabs on your computer. I can tell by the reflection that you're not looking at me. I can tell that you're scrolling through different tabs. So go ahead, guys. Come on, let's pay attention. This is the last chapter. Let's pull through before a test. Okay, if you have to stand up while I'm teaching it, stand up. I don't care what you have to do, but wake up. Okay. So we're talking about a new tribe. All right. They basically, if we think that any other tribe had the jackpot of resources, we were wrong and we were lied to. This tribe had the gold, basically. This was the tribe that you wanted to be a part of. They had so many resources because of where they lived, all right? They didn't even have to farm. That's literally the thing. They didn't have to work for food at all. All they had to do was go out to the forest. Their forest had a bunch of berries, roots, and a bunch of other plants, so they didn't have to farm. They also had a lot of animals, beaver, deer, elk, okay? They had the sea right by them, right, from California. So they had salmon, they had herring, they had halibut, they had cod, okay? Those are all different types of fish. And the way they did this is they built their own canoes, and that's how they went into the water. They went into the ocean they would even eat seals, which made me really sad. They would hunt and kill seals, and they would eat them. Same with whales and sea lions. Yes.
Do you think dogs were there back then?
They were, right? Remember when we learned about that, the travois, right? It was like the sled. Yeah, so they basically, they had dogs back then. That's a good question. Yeah, and that's basically one of their most important animals, even from way back in the day. Dogs weren't used for food. They were used as help. So that's a good question.
Gomez,
Yes.
in the picture, how'd they get the fancy clothes and like suits?
Here? Let me see. Let me go back. Jeez Louise. These pictures?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Yeah, they would actually make their own clothes. This is likely a picture from a little bit more recent. Well, not like today, but a little bit after. But they would make their clothes out of like plant fibers. And remember what we said? They would make them out of buffalo skin, like out of all of the animals that they'd hunt. they would make their clothes. Obviously not a button-down shirt, that's probably old, but stuff like let's see, like these blankets, right? Those are super modern. I mean, those are super old school, okay? Some of this stuff is a little bit more modern, okay? But stuff like this, you see this here? This was actually made. They would make this, and they would make the ink out of like stain from leaves, right? Because leaves would stain, and they would make it from blood from animals, from dirt and stuff. They would use all of the resources they had to give this design. But that's a good question. A lot of it was usually made out of animals. That's a really good question. And their skin and their fur. So they might use the skin of the deer for a certain thing, and then the fur, they would thin it out like, yeah, it was pretty gross now thinking about how they make the clothes, but the clothes are pretty. So yeah, so here we're talking about the best of the best, the people who live down the Northwest coast. And they also found clams, seaweed, and shellfish on the shore. So like I said, they had to do nothing for food. And then on top of it, every year they got blessed. It's called the Salmon Run. All right, our book has an entire paragraph. And basically every year, so if the ocean moves this way, right? If you're looking at my arms, the ocean's moving this way. Every year the salmon would go this way. And they would do that because they were laying their eggs, right? So they would go against the stream to lay their eggs. And it was known as a salmon run. And this meant that there was like thousands of them, okay? Hundreds of thousands of salmon doing this. So they knew exactly where to find them. They knew exactly what they were doing. They were going against the coast. So they would go out every year, and it was known as the salmon run. It had its own name, and it was very important to them because it supplied them with their food for like basically the entire rest of the year, on top of whatever else they decide to get on this time. So one family, a single family, so me, Julian, and Elvie, and Ureli, if we were all a part of a family, we would basically go and we would catch over 1,000 pounds of fish. Do you know how much fish that is? That is a lot of fish. If we just went one time, okay, we could catch that much fish. So that's what they would do. They would set aside any like other responsibilities they had just to go and do this, to participate in this, because it would supply them with food. It was also like their backup food. So because they had so many options, right, from their other resources, they could do that and say one day, oh, I don't want to eat that, and just go ahead and do the other thing. But remember, like our Lakota tribe, all they ate was buffalo. It was buffalo, 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 because that's all they had. These group of people, they had so like many options. They were sort of like the rich. So sometimes they would eat their fish immediately, but a lot of times they would dry it out and smoke it and then store it for the rest of the year, which is pretty cool. I like seaweed too. Yeah. No Minecraft talk, please, but we can talk about the class stuff. That is fine. How do we move this? Okay. So we're going to briefly talk about the tlingit. I don't think that's the correct pronunciation, but Miss G is going to do the best she can with what she got. So this is one of the people who lived there, okay, that's in this area where it was bountiful. So it is now known as Sitka, Alaska, okay, that's today where that is. And it was the heart of the Tlingit homeland, okay, this a certain tribe. So here's an alert, we're learning about a new tribe. If you have to stand up or write it down, do so. But this is another new tribe, okay, it will be on our test. So in the 1700s, they controlled the area that stretched for about 400 miles, okay, so it's a pretty long area, and it was theirs. And the weather there was mild and wet, meaning it wasn't too cold or hot, okay, and it was wet constantly, which meant that most of their food came from the sea, right? They traded their resources with other groups too, because they had so many options, right? And this trading made them super wealthy. So I can't remember who asked that question. I don't know who asked about, Miss G, how did they get their clothes? It could also be possible that they said, hey, to the Natchez tribe, right? Remember, they made certain clothes out of plant fibers. They were really skilled at that. Maybe they would say, hey, we'll supply you with half a year's worth of fish if you make us clothes for this season, right? And they could do something like that. That made them sort of the most powerful, okay? That's what it means by wealthy. They were the most powerful tribe out of all of them, even if they weren't the toughest, right? Like the Navajo, or the best at farming like the Hopi, or the best at, you know, moving around like the who moved around, the Penobscot, right? They had their own set of skills. They were basically the best of the best, because everybody wanted what they had, which is the best resources, the best food. Okay, they were living off the land. Like we said, if we lived in a zombie apocalypse, right, and we had to do what we could to live off the land in order to survive, right, we would want to live where they lived because they had food everywhere and anywhere they turned around. And that's the one thing that basically we all need. We need food and water. After that, once we have food and water, we don't have to worry about anything else. We could start doing other stuff. So that's basically what they were. They were able to, they had that power over everybody. So their homes and faced the sea, okay, and the villages hugged the water's edge. So they would live right on the coast, okay. Imagine living in those really nice houses with the beach in your backyard and the ocean right there, and you're hanging out. That's basically where they lived. Julian, GB, don't fall asleep. So they had those houses in their villages that faced the sea, and were on the edge. And what they did was they built wooden plank homes. So you can kind of see it back here. Do you see these planks of wood? That's how their homes were. That's their home style. So we've learned about many different home styles. We've learned about Hogan's, longhouses, what else? Teepees, the Pueblo style homes, right? The Pueblos, the apartment style homes made of adobe, the clay, right? So here's a new type of home that we're learning about. And they basically made these homes, and they fit several families, but they were related. So if me, Julian, and Elvie were cousins, and we all had our own families, our own children and husbands and wives, then we would live in there together, all three of our families, because we're all cousins. You know, that's sort of how it worked. They had symbols to identify these clans, and then those symbols were passed down to descendants. So, you know, maybe my symbol was a dragon because I love dragons, or an elephant or dragon, either one. Elvie's, let's say, was a unicorn because she loves unicorns, and Julian GB's was a llama because he loves llamas, right? If those three were our house symbols, then when we have our grandchildren, we would pass our symbols on to them. And when they got their own houses, they would pass those down, right? And you would just pass down your symbols, okay? And that's how everyone in the tribe knew whose family lived there. So the symbols were very important. You guys might have heard of this if you've watched or you've heard of Harry Potter, right? Because Miss C talks about it. You have Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, Slytherin, and Gryffindor, right? In that world, in that Harry Potter world, those are animals. Slytherin is the snake. I think a Gryffindor is a real thing. I've never really seen all the movies. But you know how that goes, right? If you know of anybody who watched Game of Thrones, that was a big Game of Thrones. You had House Stark, they had the wolf, right? House Targaryen had dragon, right? Each house has an animal. That's very typical in real history, in U.S. history, especially Native American history. And we're going to talk about what house sigils are, and they're pretty dope. I'm not going to lie, they're pretty cool. So they had these symbols, and they would put them on their house. They were decorated with most of the items that they handmade, okay, like these scarves and stuff. And basically they were highly skilled woodworkers. If they were able to make wooden plank homes, okay, most of our people that we learned about just put logs together and tie them around and put something on top, right? These guys literally carved the wooden planks, okay? They would put them up nicely. They almost look like cabins, real homes, all right? That's what these men were. And that's because men and women were. And that's because they didn't have to, they had so much free time. They didn't have to worry about food, okay? They were able to just go ahead and do what they wanted. So that's pretty cool. So, homework. My friends, we have homework. Yes, indeed. Like I said, wake up, write this down. I don't care what you got to do, but you got to do it. The reason I'm assigning this assignment is because I want your grades to spike up. I want them to spike up. So if I have to assign more homework, I will do that. Because I don't want C's and D's and F's in my class. I want you guys to have at least a C. So, homework. Write your vocab words for this lesson. Okay, they're found on page 76. There's only 3 words. This is technology, potlatch, and totem pole, okay? So I want you to write the words and the definition, type them up, upload them, or take a picture, upload it. I don't care how you want to do it. Take a picture of, like, obviously when you write it out in your notebook.
when are you gonna upload it? Because I'm always trying to do it, but it's never uploaded.
Well, so if you guys are trying to do it like right after our first class, I can't upload it because I'm already with 5A. I usually like 90% of the time I upload our homework during this little break. I've never been that late. I think I was only late once last week because I had class with 5A. Other than that, I usually get it done up there before. It's never past like 4 o'clock that I post the homework. I don't even think it's been that late. So it will be posted. So not only do you have to do those 3 definitions, but I need you guys to answer these 2 questions, okay? It's based off of the reading. The lesson starts on page 76. So between 76 and 77, those 2 pages, we didn't learn a lot today. The answers to these 2 questions will be found on those pages. So if you don't remember what I talked about in the lesson, that's totally fine. You'll be able to find the answers in your textbook as well. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? I'm gonna stop sharing. You get it?
What page is it for the 2 questions? So I can write it down.
The 2 questions I'm going to type out on Teams and upload.
Okay.
Okay. I don't think they're in your textbook. They were in my version of the textbook. I don't think they're in yours. They might be. I don't know. But they'll be uploaded on Teams as well. So you have to open the Teams doc. You're not just doing book definitions. So you're not going to be able to find those questions anywhere unless you open up the Teams doc, okay? I know some of you might be like, this is obvious, Miss G, but I have a lot of people who aren't opening the Teams doc. I'll upload the assignment and it'll tell us what page you can find the words on and stuff. And people are like messaging me, what page is vocab words on again? And I'm like, well, if you just open the assignment, it's right there. Okay, so open the assignment. Make sure you're opening the assignment, okay? Don't just go based off what I tell you in class. Open the assignment because that's where the questions will be. Okay, y'all. You can go ahead and take your break. I'll see you in 15 minutes.
Best kind of prize is a surprise. whipped cream at all unless it's been whipped with whips. Everybody knows that. It's to keep all the great big chocolatey flavor inside.
I'm Veruca. It's very nice to meet you, sir.
I always thought a verruca was a type of wart you got on the bottom of your foot.
I want to figure out.
Hey, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Hope you're doing well today. Hope you're having a really awesome day. So in today's video, I'm going to show you a few style hacks to help you smell your best and to help your scent last like 24 hours or more with these.
Right now. No. Right there.
How to smell good. Here's what we found on the web. How to find diamonds in Minecraft. Where's what we found on the web.
Yeah, get into it.
Love you.
Oh my god! Wow! Oh my god!
Hi, I'm Renata Bliss, and I'm your freestyle dance teacher.
Next. Skin. I nurture my skin. No, tell her.
Stop saying I look like Chicken Little. He's dumb and he's a coward. Chili's.
Happy Christmas. It's Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Chrysler.
Stop! I could have dropped my croissant.
Although, of course, we must admit, where the take flight.
Slowly wheels go round and round.
And cards begin to grind and pound.
Shut up! End her! Use your weapon! Kill somebody! Look, they're literally begging to die! The people they're having me work with! See, laugh!
It's okay. Subscribe from Falingo.
No cousin!
Not going to be one. London. This is Greg Paul. Jake Paul, the YouTuber. Jake Paul, the daddy.
Putting this obviously it's out now, but for 40 seconds. Dude, I've been legit like
like so excited for this one. Book 2. Fun fact: I have not read a book since the 6th grade. How many years ago was that? Probably like a decade. I am nothing but an old rotting man waiting for the next piggy game. Look, let's just say I wiped a little bit less.
Okay, everybody, you might want to start coming back to your seats.
Wait, did we have to come back right now? Or
Yes, it's about to be 9:15, so it is time for everybody to return. If you're here and you can see me and you can hear me, please get your textbooks out, the big ones, the one with the moose and the squirrel on it. So go ahead and go grab those. A sheet of paper and pencil too. We're going to be taking some notes too. So go ahead and do that in this time while I grab my book. So some of you guys, I'm actually feeling like you're playing me. You've been playing me, and by that I mean that you actually do have access to mics and cameras, but mostly mics. Don't play me, guys. I know you have them because during the break, you guys are loud on the mics. During class, you're silent or in the chat. Don't make me email your parents, please. Violetta.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. The 10-mail not working.
So it might not be working yet because now I can hear you, but it's really laggy. So it sounds like your letters are separating within your words. Almost sounds like you're underwater. I don't really know how to describe it.
can I go get my pencil real quick?
Go ahead, you really. We're good. Trying to think of what we can do, Violetta. Maybe we can try to meet on Teams. I wonder if it's just Zoom not working for you. Me and you we can practice and figure it out if you want. So we'll wait for you, Relly, to come back, and then we'll start. Does anybody else like trail mix? I believe that my body's like 80% trail mix these days. That's all I eat.
I like trail mix.
I like it, but I don't really eat it much.
Big book, the one that has the squirrel and the moose on it.
Okay.
I had this one, and it had banana chips, cranberries, almonds, cashews, and blueberries. Fire. It was so good. It was so good. I got it from Dollar Tree. It was only $1.
I don't like raisins. I don't like the raisins in them though.
Yeah, you know what? I'll give you that. They're not the best. But they add something sweet. Like they add the sweetness to it. So
I like raisins. They're good.
When I was a kid, I hated raisins. I like don't
hate
even blame me.
raisins.
I would have wanted a kid.
Excuse me.
I hated them as a kid. Like even the cereal, even as an adult, like I'll eat them in trail mix, but Raisin Bran, get it away from me. I don't even want to see it. No, like Raisin Bran.
I love any type of
I'm back.
raisin things.
All right, Ureli's back. Good.
Mm.
Yeah. Now that I'm older, I like raisins.
Yeah.
I like the cranberry raisin, like dried cranberries.
I think it's because usually my grandma has them in her drawer, and so
Ovi, are you Mexican?
Yeah.
My grandma has that too. What's up with Mexican grandmas having little boxes of raisins all the time?
Yes, that's how my grandma is in Mexico too.
Yeah.
Is that like some weird cultural thing? If when I'm a grandma, do I have to start having raisins in my house?
Right.
And sometimes she says that sometimes she just thinks that raisins are like a old people snack.
Maybe that's what it is. We all do know what raisins are, right?
Yeah.
Tell us, Ureli, what are raisins?
They're dried grapes.
They are. They're dried grapes. Somebody goes through and sucks all the juice out of the grapes, and they have raisins. Good
But
one.
they feel very good.
All right. Are we ready?
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. ELA, week 4, day 1. I cannot believe we have been together as a group for 4 weeks. That is insane. That's just crazy.
Honest, I thought it was like 2 weeks.
Right? Doesn't it feel like 2 weeks?
Yeah.
4.
I remember my first day of school online, like it was yesterday.
I know, right? I didn't speak at all. Miss C did all the work.
Yeah. I didn't know who you were until you were the other new teacher for it.
I know, right? I didn't know who I was either. I didn't say nothing. That's because I had gotten hired the day before school started. Literally. I had my interview in the morning, and then they said, okay, you can be the teacher. And then Miss C's like, oh, we have class tomorrow. I'm like, what?
You're like misplaced.
I was like, I don't even know how to work teams. So I was learning with you guys that week.
But I wasn't there. So.
Yeah, Obi wasn't there until like I think the next week or so.
Yeah.
So did our break wake us up? You all look like lonely characters, like sad characters that, you know, in the movies when they're just zoned out.
Yeah.
Because, throat.
Girl, that scared me.
It's a lazy Monday. All right, let's go. ELA week 4, day 1. Jeez, I can't even speak. So somebody lovely, help me correct this. Let's hear from somebody new.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, guys. This is pretty. I appreciate my people who are always having their hands up. Don't think that I don't want you to speak. It's just that I think it's important that we make sure everybody gets a chance. I want to hear from everyone, make sure everybody's sort of understanding the grammar a bit more. This one's a little harder, right? Couldn't see Danielle, poor baby, she got kicked. Daniel P. Oh, good morning, Daniel P. Okay. Who haven't we heard from in a while? Anani, go ahead, Anani. I know you have a mic, Anani.
Yeah, she plays music.
Yeah, she does.
Anani, I don't want to see you in that chat. Your mom said I look really young. I do look really young. I'm only 22.
Take away the comma.
Take away the comma from wind?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good guess. But the comma is needed. What else do we think? I keep opening this chat and it comes in its entirely separate box and it's so annoying.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear from, let me look through virtual hands raised. We haven't heard from Emily or Naja in a while. You guys were awfully quiet lately. So let's hear from Naja first, and then let's see what Emily's got to say. Naja, go ahead. So the comma has to stay there. That was a good guess, though, Anani. So if you know the comma has to stay there, now what do we think?
You have to add a comma by sun.
Sorry, I was stuffing my face. Before or after sun? Good job, Naja. Before or after?
After.
Good. Perfect, exactly. So we have a list, okay? So make a note of that in your head. If you're saying, if you have a list of stuff that you're talking about, you're saying, I have to go to the grocery store and have to get eggs, milk, cheese, and hot Cheetos because I ran out of hot Cheetos yesterday, right? You have to have a comma after every single individual thing that you're talking about. So he's saying, this person is saying, I enjoyed the sun, comma, wind, comma, and water. Okay, so same thing. If I said I need hot Cheetos, Takis, and trail mix from the grocery store, talking to my dad, right? I would put I need hot Cheetos, comma, trail mix, comma, and what was the third thing I said? Takis, period, and from the store, okay? After every little item that you're talking about in a list, okay, you have to put a comma afterward. So sun, wind, and water. Good job. What is the next error? Emily, go ahead. Ooh, Eric, you're next. I didn't see your hand up.
You put capital Y.
Capital Y. Good. Capital Y. What is up with my computer? Oh my gosh. What is up with my computer? I'm a hot mess today. Okay. Hold on.
Miss Gomez, did you know that they can also write the corrections too?
Yes, you're right. I might have to start you guys do this because this is too stressful for me. Thank you for that.
I can't do that.
I don't know if it works for people on the app, maybe.
You have to press view options on the top, and then on the where it says exit full screen, on the next one it says a note, and then you press that, and then you can press the draw, and then like you can watch. So like this is
I don't have that.
I can
Yes.
you see, and it tells you who did it.
Yep.
That's cool.
Video, Ureli. All right, let's hear from Eric. Eric, what else do you see? This is just a hint for everybody watching. There are 2 more errors in this. 2 more. But go ahead, Eric. Tell us, what's your guess? What else do you think is wrong with this?
There's supposed to be a period at the end of the day.
Good. Yes, good job. So there's supposed to be a period here. We have a sentence, right? Yes, it was a great day. Good. Good job, Eric. Guys, what else do we think it could be? This one's tricky. This one's a little tricky. Anybody want to take a guess?
Oh,
Okay.
wait. Enjoying the sun, wind, and water. It can be a exclamation mark at the end of day instead of a period.
That could be it. Yeah, right. Like, yes, it was a great day, but that's not it. Emily, let's see what you have to guess. Good guess, really. I mean, it could technically be true. Oh my gosh, we can't hear you. What is this happening to Emily?
I think I know why it happens.
What do you think, Hope?
Because usually in the beginning of the meeting, it asks to put computer audio or test speaker and microphone. So if you choose computer audio, then you can't hear that person. But if you press a test speaker and microphone first, It'll ask you if you can hear a ringtone and just press yes or no.
He
And
said after yes.
and then it says it's working fine, so then you press join computer audio.
She said comment after yes.
Thank you, Arrington. Yes, thank you, LV. I'll try to figure that out for her as well. Thank you for that. Yes, thank you, Arrington, as well. I saw that. I was looking through a couple chats. I was trying to listen to LV and read the chats, and I can't do too many things at once. My brain is still waking up. But yes, whoever did that, comma after yes. Okay, good job, Emily. That's exactly it. So some of you guys might be like, well, that's not a list, Miss G. So why would you have a comment after a comma after yes? That's because when you are having a conversation, right? When we say that, and let's say Nija says, Miss G, did you go to the Sox game yesterday? I would say no, but I really wanted to. Okay. So you see how you have that sort of pause after no, right? Same thing there when you're answering questions, or when like you're starting off your sentence by answering a question and then proceeding to say something else. You would say no, blah, 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 or yes, blah, 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 right? You have to have a comma when you're starting your sentences with yes or no, or I don't know even. You have to have that comma right after, okay? Because that in itself could be a sentence, right? That could be a one-word sentence. You could say yes, or you could say no, or you could say I don't know, right? But since you're combining that with another, set of words to describe maybe why you made that decision, or just, yes, it was a great day, right? Because you're sort of answering this. This could be framed in a question. Did you enjoy the sun, wind, and water? Yes, it was a great day, right? So you're sort of, if this is a sentence, you're saying, I enjoyed the sun, wind, and the water. Yes, it was a great day. You have that little pause after yes, okay? Does that make sense, kind of? We'll study a bit more on the font, like the rules behind all of that and commas and stuff, but that is a good example to get us warmed up on it, okay? So those are 2 rules already that you've learned. When you have lists, you put commas after each word, and when you're answering a question but combining it with another part of a sentence, right? You're using yes, no, or I don't know. You also put a comma after those. All right. Good job, everybody. That one was a little tricky, just the entire thing, other than the like capital letters, I think, in the, why won't it let me erase this? Oh, because that's not from Zoom. That's really different. Where did I go? Stop.
Technical difficulties.
No worries, guys. Here we go. It's like I'm on PowerPoint. Okay. So let's begin with our normal lesson. So let's do a quick review, okay? Somebody tell me what's an idiom, or even give me an example of an idiom. Somebody tell me what an idiom is again. Do you remember a type of idiom? Anybody want to take a guess?
Can I say one?
Sure.
I think one is it's raining cats and dogs. It's something like that.
Yes, good. That's a really good example that we haven't talked about yet, right? When people say it's raining cats and dogs, do they literally mean it's raining cats and dogs?
No.
No, right? Cats and dogs don't come out of the sky. That would be, that would be cool, right? Because I would love to get free cats and dogs, but then I'd be scared, like when they hit the floor. But but
that means you get free pets.
Right, you'd have free pets, but I'd want to have to catch every single one of them. I think that'd be impossible.
Injured pets.
But yes, really good, right? Also, I'm looking through and I've got a lot of you guys who shut your cameras off. Put them on now, or I'm going to email your parents. Keep your cameras on. How am I supposed to know you're not sleeping or playing Fortnite in the background? Keep your cameras on. Both of my helicopters, I know you have access to cameras. Don't make me ask you again. Put your cameras on. I think that's Michael and Julian R. Yeah, so that's a really good example, Arrington, of an idiom, okay? Raining cats and dogs, right? He gave me the cold shoulder, meaning like he was being kind of rude to me, right? He gave me the cold shoulder. His shoulder's not literally cold, okay? He's just sort of being cold, being sort of mean, right? So that's what another example of an idiom is. Remember, so they're phrases that we use in everyday life that we don't realize kind of sound silly, okay? If we didn't know the language, we'd be like, it's raining cats and dogs. What does that even mean, right? It means that it's raining a lot. It's raining crazily, right? It's raining cats and dogs.
It could also mean that it's raining really hard too.
Yeah, exactly. Raining really hard, really heavily. Good. Violeta. You have a question, Violeta?
That was Daniela.
Oh, Daniela. I saw Violeta with her hand raised physically.
Break a leg.
She said break a leg.
Break a leg is a good one. Yes, exactly. When you tell somebody to break a leg, you don't really want them to break their leg unless, there's something else that we don't know about. But yeah, right? Break a leg is another good example. Daniela, did I cut you off or were you the one who said that it means that it's raining really hard?
No, that was me around.
Oh, what were you
I was gonna say what Violeta was gonna say.
Oh, okay. Good. See, you guys have similar minds. Great minds think alike. Daniel Pearson.
Piece of cake.
What did you say?
Piece of cake.
Piece of cake. Yeah, good, right? That was a piece of cake, right? When you do something really easily, right? Maybe when you guys took your spelling tests and you knew you aced them, right? You would say that was a piece of cake, Miss G. It's not literally, I'm not giving you guys a piece of cake virtually, right, on your tests. It meant that it was really easy. It was a piece of cake. Okay, good, Daniel P.
And you said nip in the butt.
Yeah, nip in the butt, exactly. You're not going to literally nip something in the butt. You're going to cut it off. Good. Emily, go ahead. I saw you with your hand up.
It cost me an arm and a leg.
Yes, thank you. Yes, it cost me an arm and a leg. That's another common one, right? So you guys hear all these like phrases that we use all the time, or that maybe you guys don't use them, but your parents use them, right? Or grandma or grandpa or whoever, cousins, they all use them. That's because they're so common for us that we don't even realize that they're idioms. Okay, so now, like I said, if you're at a cocktail party or your family party and they're like, oh, get this little kid out of here, you can say, actually, I can identify all the idioms you just used. And you could sort of school them on their own thing. They'll be like, what the heck is an idiom? Be like, see, you don't even know what you're saying. You're saying idioms and you don't even know they're idioms. And then you could say something that sort of sounds like idiom, but I wouldn't suggest you say it, but you can say it if you want. You can call them an idiom. Okay. So that's a cool trick to know, and it's a really important part of our grammar lesson. Okay. So let's talk about realistic fiction. Somebody really quickly, since we talked a lot about idioms, somebody really quickly tell me what the genre of realistic fiction is. Elvie, go ahead. Enlighten me, Elvie. Tell me, what is a realistic fiction?
That it could happen in real life.
Good. Yes, it can happen in real life, right? But is it based off a true story? Somebody tell me, is it based off true stories when we read realistic fictions?
No.
No, yes. So to whoever chimed in, I think it was Arrington and Urelli, right? Realistic fictions are not based off of true stories, okay? They're sort of like, they could be true stories and they maybe sound like one. Like I remember the Kojo one. A lot of people said that sounds like it could be a true story. It did, right? It sounded a lot like it could be a true story. But fiction means that it's not necessarily real, but the realistic part says it makes it seem real, okay? And remember, what might lead us to rethink? Remember we were talking about rethinking ideas last week? What was it that we had to do in order to rethink ideas? What were the things called? I gave you a hint. Anybody want to take a guess?
Wait, repeat it again. Sorry.
What might lead us to rethink an idea? Remember we talked about that a lot. We read that Whitewater Adventure story and we talked about rethinking, right? When you're rethinking,
go back in the passage and reread it.
Sort of, right? Yeah, that's good. That would be a way that we do it. If we don't do something correctly by reading it, we'll go back and reread it. What was the 2 words that we learned?
I think
Trace.
Super close. So those are our big time concepts that we learned. We learned to go back and reread. We learned a close read, right? We learned all of those things. But what might lead us to rethink? What was the thing? What was the answer?
I think I know.
Go ahead.
I think it's retrace.
Good guess. Good guess. No, it's not retrace. That is a vocab word, though. Good guess. What starts with TR and ER? Tra and air. Trial.
Oh, try and reread.
Trial and what was the second word?
Air.
Good. Who was that?
That was L.
Me.
Good, LV. Yes, trial and error, right? Remember we said sometimes you have to do something and make the mistake in order to rethink your entire plan, okay? You have to try things and then you might fail and that's okay, and you try again until you figure out what the best thing is, okay? You have to rethink your idea. And I remember there was a lot of questions. You guys were like, what does that mean? Basically it means to try something and fail, okay? And that might lead you to try something new. That make sense? So trial and error, basically. Failing and trying something and failing is what might lead us to rethink an entire idea, okay? So maybe I have the greatest idea of when I'm setting up my classroom, I don't want to use desks, I want to use tables and chairs that I buy myself, and I want to put a little sofa in there. I want to try that, but you know what? I might fail at social distancing, so maybe I will have to just use desks for now, okay? I might try it and then fail. And if I fail, that means somebody could get sick, right? So I'm not even going to just do that. That makes me rethink my entire idea. I tried something and I failed, and I'll just rethink the whole thing. Okay?
I'm trying to ask a question.
Sure.
Emily.
Oh, Emily. Thank you. Emily, do you have a question? No?
Yeah, she said Ms. Gomez in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a chat now. You don't have a question, Emily? Maybe it was a mistake? It is in the chat. I do see it in the chat. But good. Okay, so there's our quick review, right? So remember, idioms, nip it in the bud, realistic fiction. It sounds like it could be a real story, but it's not. And trial and error leads us to rethink. Please mute your mics if you guys haven't already done so. So let's read, okay? So please open your Moose and Squirrel book to page 30. It's the big book, right? And the story we're going to read today is called Second Day, First Impression. The genre is realistic fiction, okay? And we're going to learn about a sort of a scavenger hunt. We're going to read about a scavenger hunt that this team has, and their sort of adventure. The one thing I want to say is look out for idioms, okay? So we just reviewed what they are. So there are a couple Easter eggs in there, idiom Easter eggs, they're hidden. See if you guys can find them, and then after we read, maybe we can go ahead and look back and see how many idioms we might have found, okay? Remember, sometimes they might seem like idioms, but they're not, okay? And sometimes they are. So the big with the moose and the squirrel on the cover, go ahead and open that to page 30. We're gonna wait for everybody. I think I see Julian R. Looking for his book. That's okay.
Is butterflies in the stomach an idiom?
Is which one?
Butterflies in the stomach.
Sort of. It could also be like what we might learn as like a metaphor, which basically means that the butterflies actually stand for the fluttering feeling that you get in your stomach. But good, that's a good question. Yeah, but it could, right? Because you can't literally have butterflies in your stomach. So I guess it could be both. That's a good one. It could be both, right? If you tell somebody, oh my gosh, I have butterflies in my stomach. If you tell somebody that who's learning English, like the language, right? They'll be like, wait, did you swallow a butterfly? Right? Or like we said, not even somebody who's not learning English. Remember, we said, think of it as like an alien's point of view. Somebody from Mars, okay? They don't know anything about the American culture. They don't know anything about speaking any sort of language out here, right? If you told an alien, I have butterflies in my stomach, they'll think that you swallowed a bunch of butterflies, okay? Or maybe even caterpillars or something like that.
Miss G.
Yes.
Idioms in Spanish is modismo. That's how you say it.
Perfect. See, Elby's got a quick Spanish lesson for us. Okay. So, are we ready? Okay. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to read the first half. Actually, not even. We're going to do popcorn reading again. That way I make sure you are all paying attention. That way I make sure you are all awake. Remember, basically how popcorn reading goes is I'll read a little bit and I'll pick somebody, okay? Whoever it is I pick, you go ahead and read for however long you want. If you want to read 2 sentences, if you want to read 2 pages, that's up to you. You can keep going, you can stop. But when you stop reading, you pick somebody new and they do the same thing, and then it just goes from there. Like I said, please don't take longer. If I have to count down on my hands, I will. Don't take longer than 10 seconds to pick somebody. This isn't a special contest. We're just reading a story, okay? The longer you take to pick somebody, the longer we're in class. Sound good? Okay. So, like I said, we're going to learn about a team. So let's just say maybe, I think we'll read that it's a sports team. And there is a scavenger hunt, okay? And if you don't know what a scavenger hunt, it's basically this. People put clues all around in a certain area, and you have to find each clue and figure out what each clue means to find the next clue, and then whoever wins first wins a big prize. So if you guys were all here or at St. Cas, maybe I'd put the first clue in our, I don't know, in the bathroom. I might tell you, in person, the first clue you will find in the place where you use the restroom and wash your hands. So then you'll know to go to the bathroom, and in there you'll find this another clue, and it'll say, this is a place where you might go to learn how to type. And then you'll go to the computer lab and stuff like that. That's how a scavenger hunt works, okay? Wait, is that how a scavenger hunt works? I might be thinking of a different game. I think I just came up with a different game in my head.
Well, you can, sometimes they can be,
sometimes it can be like a set of rules that you get in the beginning, and it says you have to.
Yeah, and then it can be maybe like a riddle, like.
True.
I live in the kitchen and I smell really good. I don't know.
True, yeah. Scavenger hunts can be that, or it can literally just be whoever gets all of these list of items first wins. So maybe I say, I need a tool for Mr. Magania's office, which I never suggest you go in there and steal a tool, but you need a tool for Mr. Magania's office. You need a book from the church, a singing choir book. You need a roll of toilet paper from the boys' bathroom, and you need a bottle of soap from the girls' bathroom. And whichever team gets this list of items first and comes back to this meeting spot, you guys win. That could also be a scavenger hunt. And those are really fun. Those are really fun. I did one of those for my friends.
What page is the book?
The book is on page 3031, and we are going to begin now. So go ahead, shake it off, stretch, pay attention, make sure your eyes are open. I don't care if you have to look like a bug. Do what you got to do. Don't fall asleep, because if you get called for popcorn reading, I'm expecting you to know.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I found it.
Okay. Here we go. Luisa hesitated at the park entrance. Oh, good job, Emily. Sorry. I just read the chat. Luisa hesitated at the park entrance, scanning the sea of strangers for red t-shirts and trying to ignore the butterflies in her stomach. Dun, dun, dun. The entire 5th grade of Green Haven Elementary was spread out before her, along with assorted teachers and parent volunteers, wandering the sun-dappled grass and gathering excitedly in color-coded groups for the morning's event. She finally spotted her teacher, Mr. Martucci, waving at her with a clipboard from the shade of a huge oak tree. She made a beeline for him. 3 of her teammates were already there. Louisa had met them yesterday in class. The boys leaning on the fence were Tyler and Sam, and the tall girl near was Devin. So here we have characters, okay? So far we have 2 boys and a tall girl. Louisa had not had an opportunity to get to know any of them yet. Maybe today, she thought hopefully. This was her first real chance to start making some friends in this new town. She just had to get off on the right foot. All right, everyone, announced Principal Goldstein into her megaphone. I know you are all anxious, vocab word, to begin, so please assemble, vocab word, with your teams to start the annual Greenhaven 5th grade second day of school scavenger hunt. So now we learn that she's in 5th grade, right? And she's your age. That would be really cool if our school had a scavenger hunt on the second day of school. Let's write that down in the suggestion box. Remember, you have unique sets of clues, so don't get distracted, vocab word, by what your rival teams are doing. The finish line is not marked on your maps. You must figure out the clues to get there. The first team to reach the finish line will be our winners. I am going to pick. Who am I going to pick? I'm going to pick Daniel P. Daniel P., go ahead and pick it up where we left it off on page 32.
Another boy from Lucia's class, Highland, dashed over to their group. He was panting violently as he stumbled to a stop. His knickers untied, his red shirt inside out, and his hair a crazy mess on top of his head. "Oh, what's up again?" Tyler asked. "How do you know?" Tyler seemed genuinely perplexed as he knelt to tie his laces. Tyler, Sam, and Devon smiled, rolling their eyes. "And go!" shouted Miss Goldstern. Mr. McCarthy produced a small cream-colored envelope and lifted it open. They all leaned in to read the first clue. "Welcome, explorers. It's time to begin. You have to be both quick and clever to win. Think of one place that has the most letters that go on. Greenhaven go-getters." I choose Ellie.
Okay. Mr. I don't know how to say his name.
Martucci.
Martucci?
Good.
Handed the map and the clue to Devin and stepped back. "Okay, Red Team," he said. "Go get it. I'm just there to keep you company. It's your job to decipher the clues and determine where to go next." Lucia held back, uncertain, but the others jumped right in. "Maybe the movie theater," suggested Devin. "That's 12 letters." Greenhaven Public Library has 23, and said Sam, pointing at the map. "Wait, you guys," said Tyler. "It's a clue, right? We should have to, figure something out, not just count letters." That was a good point, Lucia realized, relieved that she hadn't blurted out something ridiculous before Tyler pointed out we're on the wrong track. Antonio?
Oh, letters. Helen exclaimed, grinning. Not alphabet letters, the kind you mail. It's the post office. They took off for the post office at a run. Lucia necessarily, I don't know, let the others take the lead since she was still unfamiliar with much of the area. Tapped to the tapped to the oh oops stay I don't know, stately or something like that. Front door was another envelope which Haleen tore open to reveal the next clue. Your next stop is one you'll be happy to make. You'll wish you had time to stop for a break. A sweet place to go far with birthday surprise. Hurry, hurry on over, and and good things will rise. Ellie Marine.
Come on, Lucy. Lucia told herself firmly. You have to attempt uh, to contribute. Maybe. It means someplace with a elevator. Things will rise. No, wait, I've got it, Sam said. The bakery. That's where you get a birthday cake for a surprise party. And cakes are good things that rise. Lucia glanced around embarrassed, but no one seemed to care that her idea had been wrong. And now that she thought about it, Sam and Devon's ideas for the first clue had been wrong too, and no one had teased them or anything. The butterflies in her stomach seemed to be fluttering a little less as she headed towards the bakery with the others. Through the bakery front window, they spotted the next envelope attached to the cake display case. Sam darted instead to retrieve it, maneuvering deftly around amusing cake's patrons, then read the clue out loud. Think of our founder, the great you-know-who. He started this town back in 1802. Make your way now to his last rested place, but time's growing short. Pick up the pace. Emily.
Hey, I actually know this one. This is not French. To the cemetery, Devin cried. No, wait, Lucia said, stopping them. That's not right. It said his last resting place. That sounds like a cemetery to me, I said. Lucia nodded. I know, but it wasn't buried in the cemetery. It wasn't buried in the cemetery. I did not. I did some reading when my family decided to relocate here. The founder was actually buried near the library. There's a tree with a little with his name engraved on it, and everything right out front. The other kids looked at each other. I've walked by that library almost every day of my life, Sam said. I never knew that. Good save, Evan said to Lisa. We'd have lost valuable time if we'd have to retrace our steps from the cemetery. We still need to hurry, Tyler reminded them, pointing at a group of yellow-shirted students running purposefully across the intersection. I know a shortcut, Halen cried. Follow me. No one moved. No, seriously, Halen said. You know how I'm always late? Trust me, I figured out a lot of shortcuts in this town. The others had to agree that made sense, and so they let Halen lead them up a tiny side street and across a scraggly patch of grass. A few more blocks, a sharp right turn, and suddenly they were standing in front of the library. Lisa found a clue taped to a flag honoring the town's founder. Now go to a place where the pig skin is found, but don't waste too much time running around. Center yourselves, then rise to the top. When you run out of space, you'll know it's time to stop. Raphael.
He said Raphael.
I lost myself. Because it was really quiet. I don't know what page it is.
That's fine. Emily, do you want to tell him what page you left off on? 36, Raphael, right? You finished that? So
I know it's short. Follow me. Oh,
He's lagging. I can't hear him.
Yeah, I think his mic is.
Yeah, it's on mute, I think.
it keeps muting.
Yeah, it keeps muting.
Okay, that's fine. Emily, do you want to pick somebody else?
She said Arrington.
Arrington, go ahead.
Are we on 36 or 37?
Page 36.
36. Sorry, I was chatting with Crazy Turtle Gobble Gobble when Emily was reading. Stefan was having hard with her Wi-Fi.
Which paragraph?
Do you want to tell her where you left off? I think it was after the envelope.
Yeah.
Okay. The football stadium. Tyler said decisively, pig skin running around. That seems pretty obvious. I don't know what up to center stuff means though. Maybe the center of the field or the center section of the seating area. Devin, I propose. I bet that's it, said Louisa, nodding. We should find the intersection, then go up to the top. But by the time they ran to the high school home of the town's only football stadium, and up the many steps to the top, they were all out of breath. Tyler plucked the envelope from the aisle seat in the uppermost row. You're getting so close to end of in sight. Accomplish your goal. Don't give up the fight. Look where you've been. See where you are. Now navigate wisely, and there'll be your start. Devin stared blankly at the map. That doesn't narrow down the options at all. maybe it's one just at the movie theater. Yeah, you know. Sam said, I let the movie stars. Maybe Mother Louisa. Close, like, close, I'm close up insight because movies are something you watch. It could be planetarium, said Tyler. Does is our time have a planetarium? Okay. She's Ibania.
Ibanya doesn't have her book.
Okay. Claudia?
So starting on page 38, Claudia.
Your sweater looks cozy.
I'm really cold.
Miss G, your sweater looks cozy.
It is cozy, thank you. Why don't you give it a try, Claudia? I don't let's see. Why don't you give it a try? Hopefully it's not too noisy. If it is too noisy, you can go ahead and pick somebody new. Is that okay? Okay. Make sure you unmute yourself.
Guys, Devin explained suddenly. Oh wow, look at this. She grabbed a pencil from her bag and played the point at the park where they had started. As they watched, she traced the line from their post from there to the post office, then to the bakery, then the library, then the stadium. Do you see what I see? Lisa followed the lines with her eyes and got it at once. Their path was forming the shapes of a star. They just needed one more line to complete it, a line connecting them right back to the beginning. The others saw it too, and together they turned and raced toward the park. When they reached the final stretch, Mr. Martucci veered off to the side, waving them and on and shouting, "Go Red Team, go!" Louisa could see the finish line beckoning up ahead. They were going out to win.
Good job, Claudia.
Wait, I don't know which person haven't read yet.
Let's see.
I don't see other people's names.
Yeah, Nija, Daniel V, Julian R, Daniela, Christian, Julian GB. Who else hasn't read? Violetta hasn't read. Indio, Michael, Lily, Edgar. Mostly everybody hasn't read.
And I'll pick Nigel.
So page 38, starting with suddenly.
Suddenly, the green team burst into sight from their left, followed by a blaze of the yellow striking by on the right. Lisa ducked her head and lengthened her thread, giving it everything she had. We could tell the others were doing the same. They ran faster and faster, their arms pumping, feet flying, blurs of yellow and green, and now blue and purple, too, crowding in from all sides. The finish line was growing closer, and Miss Goldston was shouting into her megaphone, and there were other people all around cheering and yelling words of excitement. I picked Daniela.
Finally, the red team tumbled across the finish line. This one fateful step behind the greens, as Mrs. Goldston pronounced the green team the winners. Tyler, Sam, Devin, Hamian, and Lisa collapsed in a big red, exhausted heap on the grass. So close, Tyler gasped. Can I pick someone?
Yeah, go ahead.
Who hasn't read yet? Hold on.
Almost everybody. Christian, Julian R, Daniel V, Lily, Violetta, Julian GB.
Daniel V.
Daniel V.
Okay, so close, Tyler gasped. Are we right there?
Yeah.
Okay. So close, Tyler gasped. Yeah, Sam said, sounding even more out of breath. If only you ran a little faster, we might have won. Tyler made a face and they all burst into laughing. Nice job, new girl. Devin?
It could be Devin or Devon, either one.
Oh, Devin said approvingly, giving Louisa a high five. We wouldn't even have come in second without your help. Can I pick somebody?
Really quickly, because we only have 4 minutes, and the longer we take, we're gonna get out of class late. Let's go ahead.
Okay, Christian.
I actually go somewhere. Where was the page?
We're on the last page. We're on like one of the final paragraphs.
Third
Daniel,
last paragraph.
yeah, Daniel V ended at nice job, new girl, right? Daniel V. So you'll be starting at that was really fun.
That was really fun, said Helen. I hope we get to be on the same team for something else. Me too, Louisa agreed, smiling. Her stomach butterflies had vanished. Without a trace, she lay under the trees with her new friend still trying to catch her breath, confident that today had been the only first of adventures yet to come.
Good. So that was a really cute story. Good job to all my readers. Thank you for that. A virtual round of applause for them. You all did fantastically. I was impressed. This word had a lot of difficult words. I'm thinking now once we start popcorn reading, I'm gonna pick a reader that I was most impressed with. Not meaning that anybody, you all did fantastic. Don't take it that way. But there was one reader that I was most impressed with. She absolutely killed all of the difficult words. And that goes out to Claudia G. So everybody, round of applause for Claudia G. She had a few very difficult words in her little paragraph that she read, and she read through them very smoothly. Claudia, that was a really good job. And you were worried about your noisy background, and it's okay. I have noisy backgrounds too sometimes. But really good job reading. Everybody else, you all did fantastically as well. We got through the whole story as popcorn readers with time left. So that means I have time left to give you guys your homework. Yay, 2 minutes. I know, I'm sorry guys, I have to do it. I have to. It's not really a choice. But here we go. Here is our homework. LOL, sad face. Geez. So here we go. We're going to answer the 4 questions that are going to be posted onto Teams, but they should also be on page 41 in your book. So at the end of the story, right, you go through and read the whole story, and you see these questions, and there's the summarize thing at the top, okay, and it has that graphic organizer, and then there's the thing called text evidence, okay? Text evidence, this is how you spell it. It's the green, it's the second part, 1 through 4. I want you to do questions 1 through 4. I don't want you to do the summarize, the graphic organizer. You're gonna have 2 days to do these questions. So you have tonight and tomorrow night. So this isn't a due until Wednesday. Okay, so that's the good thing. So you have enough time to go back and reread and answer the questions. Maybe answer 2 questions tonight and then tomorrow do 2 questions. That way you're splitting it up evenly so you don't have too much work. You do have social studies homework too, but the social studies is due tomorrow. So that social studies, you need to do that tonight and get it into me tomorrow because that's when it's due. Okay, social studies, the vocab, it's only 3 vocab words and 2 questions. Really easy questions too.
You're gonna post these on Teams, right?
Yes, I already posted the social studies one, but I'm gonna do the ELA right now between my break between 5B.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but social studies is due tomorrow. This one's due Wednesday. So you have 2 days to work on this one and 1 day to work on social studies. So make sure you get the social studies done. Remember guys, more homework means better grades in my class. Okay? Even though you probably don't want to do it, it means better grades, which means trouble. Does that sound good? Everybody understand?
No.
Who is that? Who doesn't have their mic muted? Christian? I can hear your commentary. Please don't make me write you up. So yeah, the questions are on page 41 of your textbook. I'm gonna also type them and post them on Teams. You do not have to type the questions. You only have to type the answers and turn them in. Sound good? Okay, guys, I will see you virtually tomorrow.
I wish we had more time with you. That would have been better.
I know. Emily couldn't hear me. Let me say it one more time. You have homework due tomorrow. Page 41. No. ELA homework is due Wednesday, page 41, questions 1 through 4, okay? You don't have to do the summarized part. And then social studies is due tomorrow. Ureli, I also wish I had you guys all day. I would much rather teach all subjects to one class than have to switch off. It's just way too much work. But yes, 5B, you guys are my angels. You have a special place in my heart, my 5B. But it is time for us to part ways. I will see you guys tomorrow at 8:30. Do your social studies, get your work done, and be nice for Miss C.
Okay, bye.
Bye, guys. Bye, bye, bye. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good day, guys. I think
Have a good day today.
you too. I definitely think Julian GB fell asleep in class. Like he disappeared and he's gone. So now I'm gonna have to email his parent and be like, what the heck? Your son disappeared. He vanished. Julian GB. Julian GB.